Welcome, Aries. If you're hearing these words tonight, it's not a coincidence. Maybe the universe has been trying to tell you something important enough to make your heart pause for just a moment. Sometimes, before the light appears, the world goes completely silent, and it's in that silence that the most sensitive souls begin to hear the whispers of destiny. Take a deep breath, let your shoulders soften, and allow your mind to slow down. Because tonight, I want to tell you a sacred message, one that the universe has written just for you, a message that arrives when heaven gently places a hand on your shoulder and says, "Wait, just for a moment." When night gently falls, the world seems to slow, just enough for you to hear the sound of your own soul. And in that stillness, the universe begins to speak, not through thunder, nor through raging winds, but through a deep, sacred silence, the kind that makes your heart tremble, yet carries a tender truth within it. Aries, sometimes heaven doesn't call you forward. Sometimes it simply places a soft hand on your shoulder and whispers, "Pause for a moment. You're moving too fast." There are days when the road ahead is clear, but there are also days when the light dims, so you can learn to see with your heart instead of your eyes. And tomorrow might be one of those days. A day when the air feels heavy, when invisible currents cross paths, and every step must be guided by intuition, not habit. When Mars, the planet of action, meets Saturn, the planet of discipline, the universe is teaching you one of its hardest lessons: to know when to stop. I once believed waiting was a waste of time, that only action could prove my strength. But life has its own way of teaching wisdom. Sometimes, waiting is the bravest action you can take. Once, I chose to pause even when everyone urged me forward, and just a day later, the door I was about to walk through quietly collapsed. That was the moment I understood. Not every opportunity is meant to be seized, and not every road deserves to be finished. Aries, you carry the fire of the pioneer, but even fire must be sheltered, or it will be swept away by the wind. Today, the universe isn't testing your courage, it's testing your faith in divine timing. Remember this: what arrives late is not always lost, and what comes early may not yet be ready to bloom. If something calls you tomorrow, a meeting, a decision, an impulse that feels urgent, take a deep breath. Ask your heart, am I being moved by fear of missing out, or by the calmness of trust? Because only the answer that rises from silence is the truth. In this world, everyone is rushing to love, to prove, to speak, to be seen. But only those who dare to slow down can hear the footsteps of destiny. The universe doesn't use noise to protect you, it uses quiet. That's why awakened souls rarely speak. Much they smile, they listen, and they wait for the right moment to move. If you've ever had a moment when your intuition pulled you back but your mind wanted to run ahead, remember it. Share that story. Tell those who are listening with you tonight about the time you chose stillness and how life changed because of it. Because in your story, someone else might find the courage to pause when the world tells them to run. And as you begin to listen to that silence, something magical happens. The space around you starts to shift. Tiny things, a glance, a dream, a number repeating suddenly carry meaning. They float toward you like specks of light, touching your soul and whispering, "I am here. The universe is still speaking." Are you quiet enough to hear? Let this night be the doorway to your inner stillness. Close your eyes. Feel your breath, because in that breath, the universe is sending its message. You may not see what's moving yet, but faith will guide you through the unseen. And when your heart becomes calm enough, when the noise fades into the background, you'll realize those small signs around you were never random. Every dream, every twinge of intuition, every quiet ache in your chest, they were all the universe's way of saying, a new chapter is about to begin. A chapter only those who are still enough can hear the first whisper of. There are days when the only sound you can hear is your own breath, and yet, within that silence, the universe is whispering thousands of messages. Aries, you might think that everything happening around you is just coincidence, a dream repeating itself, a number that keeps appearing on the clock, a friend from the past who suddenly shows up, then disappears. But nothing is meaningless. Every image, every fleeting moment is a grain of starlight, falling gently into your life, awakening something ancient and quiet within your soul, something that has been waiting for you to remember. The universe is always speaking. It's just that we've forgotten how to listen. It doesn't use words, it speaks in rhythm, through synchronicities, through emotions that return again and again, through that strange tug in your chest that logic can't explain but your heart understands instantly. Sometimes a song plays just as you think of someone. A bird crosses your path right when you're wondering whether to go or stay. These small, delicate signs are destiny's whispers, so light that if you're rushing, you'll miss them. Many people only realize after years that life always sends signals before every major turning point. A sudden intuition, an odd wave of fatigue, a look that makes your heart sink for no clear reason. The universe never tries to scare you. It only invites you into stillness so you can truly see what's happening inside. Because truth never arrives in noise. It always comes in the moment you stop long enough to hear it. I've lived through those days when intuition spoke, but I ignored it. I was afraid of being wrong, afraid of falling behind the world. And then everything collapsed, as if the universe wanted to remind me. What you refuse to learn through awareness, you'll eventually learn through pain. Since then, I've learned to honor the smallest signs. They're the guiding threads of the soul, messages from gentle spirits who are always watching over us. Aries, you are fire, but sometimes that same fire makes you forget what the wind feels like. The wind carries messages, subtle movements that only reveal themselves when you sit still. If lately you've felt uneasy for no reason, or tired though you've done nothing, don't blame your body or your mind. It's only energy shifting, clearing space for what's about to arrive. Pause for a moment, take a slow breath, let your thoughts settle. You'll begin to notice the quiet conversations happening all around you, a leaf falling right as you're about to decide something, a beam of sunlight tilting through your window like an invitation to hope, a drop of water rolling across your hand just as you're holding back tears. They all whisper the same truth: you are not alone. This world runs on frequency. When you are calm, you begin to match the vibration of truth. When you are still, the universe can finally speak to your heart without interference from fear. That's why loneliness, at times, is a gift. In that silence, you'll hear what a lifetime of noise could never teach you. If today you notice a sign, a glance, a feeling, a dream, don't dismiss it. Write it down. Keep it close. Because days from now, you may see how these fragments form the map to the truth you've been seeking. And if this message reaches you, share your story. One small comment, one memory, could be the thread of light that helps someone else find their way out of the dark. Sometimes, the universe speaks to us through one another. And in that awareness, something begins to open. Things that once felt meaningless start to connect, weaving themselves into a pattern that leads you deeper into yourself. There, every emotion has a reason. Every dream is a piece of the soul's memory. And as that light expands within you, a quiet question rises, not from fear but from courage. Can I stay calm enough to truly see what is moving around me? And then, in that moment, you'll feel it, a surge of energy waking inside you, the current of movement and creation, rising from the edge between peace and challenge, the place where wisdom is born from the sacred collisions of the soul. Aries was born from fire, the fire of beginnings, of bold moves, of stepping forward while others still hesitate. But sometimes, that very fire makes you forget that to keep burning, it needs air, not opposition. There are moments in life when the universe doesn't want you to move ahead. It wants you to step back, so your flame can quiet down, shine steadier, burn longer, Tomorrow, someone might test you. Someone who once hurt you might return, smiling as if the past never happened. A call, a message, a familiar voice might stir something deep inside your chest. They may sound kind, but beneath that tone lies an old current, the same energy you spent years trying to heal from. If you're not careful, your fire could be pulled back to the very place where it once burned out. There are battles that don't need to be won, they simply need to be left behind. Victory isn't always about who's right. Sometimes it's about who chooses peace. The universe isn't asking you to prove anything. It's asking whether you've grown enough to understand that not reacting is sometimes the highest form of wisdom. Some provocations are not worth your breath. Some doors that appear open are simply detours leading back to where you once fell. I remember once standing before someone who had kept me awake for months with heartbreak. They spoke softly, asked for another chance, promised something better. My heart wanted to step forward, but my soul whispered, "Don't." I chose silence, not because I hated them, but because I no longer needed their validation. Weeks later, I understood. That silence had protected me once again. The universe always knows the right time for stillness. Aries, tomorrow may bring a moment that will test your inner strength. You'll stand between impulse and intuition, between running toward the familiar and standing with your soul. Remember, not every smile carries good energy. Not every invitation is an opportunity. Sometimes, it's just the universe giving you an exam, asking if you've learned to stay centered. When you can stand still in chaos, you enter a higher state of maturity. You no longer shout, no longer justify, you simply breathe and look into the eyes of what once scared you. And in that quiet moment, you'll realize it no longer has power over you, because you are no longer who you used to be. You are the one who has walked through fire and learned how not to burn. Sometimes the universe sends conflict just to show you whether you've truly healed. If someone tries to pull you into an argument, smile. If someone tries to make you prove your worth, walk away. Your peace is the loudest answer you'll ever give. And when the weight in your chest grows heavy, close your eyes. See the fire within you, not wild, not consuming, but steady, warm, radiant. This flame doesn't need to prove anything. It just exists, bright enough to guide, gentle enough to heal, and wise enough not to destroy itself. Tomorrow, when tension rises, remember this. True strength isn't in reaction. It's in the calm heart that stays steady amid the storm. The truly powerful aren't those who win every fight, but those who can walk away without needing to explain. Let your silence speak for you. Let the light in your eyes reflect the quiet, knowing that you don't need conflict to be seen, nor validation to be understood. Your stillness is the mirror of wisdom. And when you finally understand that strength no longer lives outside you, but within each breath, you'll see that stillness is its own form of courage. It's the moment when your fire no longer seeks to fight, but to illuminate. And as that light spreads from within you, the world around you softens, quieter, deeper, filled with a peace you may have never known before. In that slow, steady breath, your heart becomes calm like a lake after the wind, ready for a new journey, one where strength no longer comes from action, but from the sacred stillness of your soul. There are seasons in life when it feels like the world is moving forward and you've been left behind. Everything around you shifts and changes, yet you remain still. You grow restless, uncertain, afraid that silence means failure. But when you stay quiet long enough, you begin to see the truth. Stillness is not an empty space. It's the room life needs to rearrange itself for you in ways your mind could never plan. Aries, you've always lived in motion, always doing, pushing, proving. But sometimes, the universe asks you to learn a different kind of strength, the strength of surrender and of trust. Because only when you stop can heaven do its part. Your silence isn't weakness. It's a form of inner power, a power that doesn't shout, doesn't demand, but simply stands firm and believes. I once went through a season like that when every plan fell apart, every door closed. I was angry. I blamed myself. I thought I had failed somehow. Then one misty morning, I decided to do nothing. I sat still and watched the sun rise through the trees, and in that moment, I felt the world stop fighting me. All I needed was faith. And strangely enough, from that day on, good things started finding their way to me without me having to chase them. Aries, sometimes, being still is the most beautiful prayer you can offer. When you are silent, your energy clears, becoming as calm and reflective as a lake under the moon. It's in that state your soul can finally hear the voice above the one that doesn't come from outside, but rises from deep within. There's no action more powerful than choosing peace in the face of uncertainty. The modern world tells us we must always be doing something to be alive. But the wisest people I've ever met are those who know when to stop. They understand that, like a river, sometimes you don't need to force the current, you just let the water flow. The universe works the same way. It never forgets you. It only waits for you to stop struggling so it can lift you more gently. If you're in a season of stillness right now, don't be afraid. See it as destiny's quiet meditation. Everything may look motionless, but beneath that silence, thousands of invisible movements are unfolding. Paths are being cleared. The right people are being placed along your way. You don't need to do anything except breathe deeply and trust that things are aligning exactly as they should. Aries, you've always believed your power came from action. But today, the universe wants to show you another kind of strength, the strength of knowing when to stop. When you stand still, you become the center of gravity, the axis of the great wheel of fate. Your calm doesn't slow the world, it balances it. Try this tonight. Turn off the noise, the phone, the plans. Just you and your breath. Let your mind rest. Let your soul speak. You'll realize that stillness isn't empty, it's full of messages, of love, of quiet direction. It's the place where answers are born, where destiny whispers. You don't have to run, everything you need is already coming closer. And if you've ever had one of those days, just one when you chose to stop and somehow everything shifted, remember how that felt. The way your fears suddenly became small and life itself seemed kind again. It was never trying to hurt you, it was trying to teach you how to trust. Tomorrow morning, the world may still be noisy and demanding, but something within you will have changed. A little more light, a deeper breath, a quieter heartbeat. That's what growth feels like. It's when you finally understand that silence isn't the end of the story, it's how heaven begins a new chapter. A chapter of protection, of light gathering softly around you, steady and unseen, preparing to reveal itself in the place you least expect. Within every soul, there is a flame. Some burn brightly with ambition, others glow quietly in silence, the flame of faith. And on the days when your world feels off its axis, when everything slows down unexpectedly, when messages go unanswered, when plans fall apart, when your body feels heavy for no clear reason, know this: the universe might be protecting you in ways you cannot yet see. Aries, you were born under the guidance of fire, so stillness can make you uneasy. But imagine this: if a flame burns endlessly without shelter from the wind, it will soon fade. Archangel Michael, the guardian of strength and light, stands behind you now, wrapping you in his sacred blue fire. This is not a fire that destroys, it purifies. It burns away fear, confusion, and all the energies that do not belong to you. When things you've been waiting for are suddenly delayed, when someone quietly steps out of your life without a reason, don't see it as loss. Sometimes, the universe is simply guiding you away from harm. You may not see it, but inside every pause, there's a divine hand rearranging the pieces. A canceled meeting might be saving you from the wrong encounter. An unexplained exhaustion might be your soul's way of saying, rest, not this path, not yet. I've lived through this myself. Once, everything I had planned collapsed in a matter of hours. I felt angry, abandoned, lost. But a week later, I understood had things continued as I wanted, I would have walked straight into exhaustion and chaos. Looking back, I realized that sometimes the real miracle isn't moving forward, it's being stopped in time. Aries, imagine this. Each time you pause, Archangel Michael places his hand gently on your shoulder and whispers, "Not yet. You're being kept safe." Within that blue flame, negativity dissolves, fear softens, and your spirit begins to breathe again. Light a white candle not to ask for anything, but simply to say, "Thank you for guiding me still." When you see the flame flicker in your eyes, you'll feel that warmth, the quiet assurance that something higher is holding you close. What doesn't happen today might be tomorrow's greatest gift. The universe never takes without giving something better. But for the new to arrive, there must be space. And that space is born from delays, unfinished plans, and the people who had to walk away so your path could clear. If tomorrow you wake up feeling heavy, don't panic. It's only energy shifting within you, the cleansing of old vibrations. Take a slow breath, place your hand over your heart, and whisper, "I am safe." When you say it, the universe listens. And when you believe it, everything around you begins to move in your favor. Divine protection doesn't always arrive as blinding light or visible miracles. Sometimes it looks like slowness, like absence, like the rain that keeps you home instead of on the road. Don't underestimate these small moments. They are often how destiny shields you from storms you were never meant to face. Let this blue flame surround you like invisible armor. It makes no sound, yet it's stronger than any wall. You may not see it, but every sensitive soul can feel the warmth radiating from your heart. Let your gratitude be your prayer, because when you are thankful, you vibrate at the same frequency as divine protection. And when you reach that frequency, that layer of stillness, peace, and gentle alignment, you'll begin to sense something miraculous stirring beneath the quiet. A soft light forming, shapeless yet alive, something drawing closer, something that only reveals itself when your heart is calm enough to feel it. Every soul reaches a moment when time seems to stop, when the noise fades, the race quiets, and all that's left is breath and awareness. For Aries, that moment isn't the end of action, it's the beginning of a new kind of movement, a transformation born out of stillness. You've spent so many days rushing, chasing deadlines, people, and expectations. You've pushed yourself to prove, to hold on, to stay ahead. But one day, something shifts. You realize that the harder you cling, the faster things slip away. And in the moment you finally let go, when you allow stillness to cover you like a soft blanket, something miraculous happens. The world stops resisting you. Everything starts moving again, but in a gentler, wiser rhythm, slower, yes, but perfectly aligned. That's the moment your energy changes direction, no longer reaching outward but flowing inward, no longer searching for answers in others but listening to the quiet truth within yourself. Peace begins to spread like cool water moving through the tired corners of your soul. Time pauses, just long enough for you to see clearly what busyness once hid. Old doors close not as punishment but as preparation so that new ones can open, quietly, in the background. Maybe you once lost something you thought you couldn't live without, but months later, something returned in a different form, softer, perfectly timed. That wasn't coincidence. That was the reward of trust. The universe always works in silence, but it never makes mistakes. When you pause, the universe finally has room to rearrange the pieces you dropped in your haste. Aries, you were born to move, to lead, to act. But the most powerful action isn't constant motion, it's knowing when to wait. Waiting doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. Some opportunities only bloom when your energy is calm, like the lotus that opens only in still water. I once spoke with a woman who told me her life only changed when she stopped fighting the current. After losing her job, instead of panicking, she chose to rest, to meditate, to read, to nurture herself. 6 months later, A new opportunity appeared, one better than anything she had ever imagined. When I asked how she did it, she smiled and said, "I stopped trying to do what I was never meant to do." That's the magic of stillness. It doesn't arrive with noise or fireworks, but it's strong enough to redirect an entire destiny. Relationships that once felt uncertain suddenly become clear. Those who truly love you stay. Those who were only passing through quietly fade away. You don't have to chase or explain, time will do the work for you. Let patience become your strength. Each peaceful day renews your energy, and what belongs to you begins to find its way back, not because you fought for it, but because you've become radiant enough for it to recognize you. Stillness is the frequency of things meant to last. If you've ever experienced what I call a miraculous delay, a time when waiting brought something better than you expected, share your story. Your faith might be the light someone else needs tonight. They need to know that slowing down isn't losing, it's winning without the fight. And then, when you grow comfortable in the slower rhythm of the universe, you'll feel something new stirring deep within. Somewhere in your spirit, a soft light begins to move. It's warm, gentle, but powerful, like a flame awakening after a long sleep. It's no longer the fire of haste or ambition, but the fire of wisdom and rebirth. And in that quiet glow, you'll finally understand silence was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of a new chapter, where your true strength rises again, radiant, steady, and brighter than ever before. There are flames that never go out, they simply learn to burn differently. Aries, after everything you've walked through, you've passed the phase where your fire once burned, to prove, to fight, to be seen, to make sure you were not forgotten. Now, that same fire has been refined by time, by silence, by all those long nights you thought you were alone. It is no longer the fire of resistance, but the fire of wisdom, bright, deep, and steady. The universe never wanted to extinguish you. It only wanted to teach you how to keep your warmth without burning, how to shine without blinding anyone. True light is never loud. It arrives like a quiet breath, yet it's powerful enough to dissolve the darkness in a room. You've lived that journey to understand this. Real strength isn't found in the explosion, but in the ability to stay lit no matter the storm. Now, you can feel every movement around you more clearly. Your intuition, it's like a compass that's finally aligned, guiding you before your mind can even interfere. Your soul feels lighter, no longer weighed down by the need to prove or to please. You're beginning to realize you don't need to speak too much to be understood, nor react to be seen. The peace within you has become your most powerful language. Those who once hurt you no longer hold power in your heart. They haven't changed, but you have. You see their intentions before their words even form, and instead of pain, you feel compassion. Because now you know, every soul is simply learning at its own pace. There are no enemies anymore, only teachers, in the classroom of destiny. You understand now light doesn't need to dazzle to be real. It just needs to be directed the right way to spread. Your calmness is the result of countless times you've burned out and begun again. And it's in the moment you stop searching outside yourself that you found the real flame within a fire that illuminates without consuming, that warms without raging. Maybe you'll notice you no longer crave the noise of crowds, no longer need to prove yourself in endless debates. You'll start choosing quieter spaces where you can simply be, where your soul's voice can finally be heard, where your light can flow out of you naturally, like breath. And in that simplicity, something beautiful happens. Others begin to find peace just by being near you. From now on, be careful who you allow to touch your flame. Not everyone is gentle enough to understand that this light was forged from both pain and awakening. Protect it as you would a sacred treasure, because what you guard today isn't just your own light, it's the lamp that will one day guide someone else out of their darkness. Aries, your flame has grown mature. It no longer burns for recognition, but for love and for understanding. When you walk in this light, you no longer fear the dark because you finally know Light isn't something outside of you, it's who you are. And when night quietly falls, and you sit in the stillness of your own breath, looking back at everything you've survived, you'll see at every heartbreak, every loss, every ending was leading you right here to the moment you were calm enough to reignite yourself. From the ashes of what was, you have risen not to conquer the world, but to illuminate it. And in that gentle light, you smile a quiet, grateful smile, a thank you to the universe, to yourself, and to every force that brought you to this moment, this sacred place where all that remains is light, peace, and a heart fully awakened. Aries, this journey wasn't just a lesson, it was a return to your breath, to your faith, and to the light that has always lived within you. Take a deep breath. Let it carry you back to the peace you've spent so long searching for. And when you whisper, "Thank you, universe, for protecting me from what I could not see," know that your gratitude itself becomes the door, the one that opens to new blessings. You've walked through the storms with gentleness, with wisdom, and with a heart that still chooses to believe, even after being hurt. Now, the light within you is no longer fragile. It has become a beacon for others, a quiet flame that leads the way. Life will unfold softly, like dawn after a long night where all that once frightened you fades like passing wind, making space for faith and for gratitude. Thank you, Aries, for walking this path with me, with such an open, courageous heart. May your tomorrow be peaceful, your mind as light as the clouds, your heart as radiant as the sun, and your soul shining with the very light this world has always needed.